Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Vimoh Live. This is a live stream that happens on YouTube on Saturdays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Today is Saturday, the 15th of April 2023. The time is 8:01 p.m. I don't know why there is a 1 minute delay. I thought I timed it well, but here it is. I am live. We talk about atheism. Wednesday is a day on which I just read comments and respond to them. On Saturdays, I try to take a few callers, uh, and it gets a little chaotic and also quite time consuming and hectic. So today, what I've decided is that I'll run an experiment. Whoever comes on screen will get a maximum of 5 minutes. If the conversation is fruitful and interesting and deserves more time, I will extend the time period. But the upper limit of any caller is going to be 5 minutes. I'll share a link in the chat now. People who want to join can click on it and come on screen. Wait, let me just pin this so that it becomes easier for people to find. It is also possible that you are listening to this at a later point of time and not live on YouTube. If that is the case, you're probably using Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, etc. If you're doing that, please click the rating button, give it a 5-star rating on Spotify, and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It all helps. And that's the formalities out of the way. The last 4 days have been like my house had relatives visiting. I was making some plans regarding the publications that I'm running and stuff like that. Wait, I forgot the ticker. I'll just remind everyone that if you want to support the channel, you can do so by clicking the join button below and becoming a member. You can also support the channel on Patreon at patreon.com/Vimoh. You can also go to my blog at vimoh.stck.me and make a one-time contribution there. I say this in every episode, so it's okay. You get it. You get what I'm saying. So let me start by reading some comments. Harsh Kiran. Hello, Harsh. I don't believe I've seen you before. Harsha says, recommend one best book to read which improves our critical thinking and quality of living in this generation. There is no such one book, Harsha. And if, in fact, that quest to find one book is at the root of our problems. Any kind of understanding, any kind of critical thinking is only going to be built as a result of widespread exposure to ideas. No one book can do it for you. You are going to have to read many books. In fact, many books which probably even disagree with each other. So critical thinking develop करने का better तरीका है read widely instead of looking for one book that will teach you everything that you need to know. And one book is the problem because the one book quest for the one book has given rise to so many religions, right? This one book has all the information we need. We don't need anything else. Anyone who says that we need anything more is clearly an enemy of the creator of the universe. So yeah, that would be my response to that. If you need book links, there is a page I have on Amazon, amazon.in/shop/Vimo. If you go there, I have linked a bunch of books that I have read and liked. You can find one from there if you so choose. Next question is Purvesh. Hi Purvesh, thank you for being a member. Purvesh says, Hi Vimo. Hello Vimo, hope you're doing well. I'm okay, Purvesh. Thank you. God is dead is here. Sushant says hello. Mrityunjay says Malik sir interview was awesome. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of in public domain already, right? Whatever he has said, he has kind of said or implied in the past also. So that should not be a surprise. He has been quite vocal even during the farmers' protest. He was one of the people inside the BJP who was saying, "Yeah, this is bullshit. You should not, uh, you know, attack farmers for voicing their concerns simply because you did not give them a hearing before enacting a law." So yeah, have you watched Satyapal Malik's Wire interview with Karan Thapar? Yes, I have. I have. And as I said, this is not new. He has said this before also. God is Dead says, Vimo, my only question is if religion based politics is bad, then why people defend caste based politics of Bahujans? Well, this is what happens when you compare apples with oranges. Religion based politics is bad because the religion that is being peddled as the solution is a majority religion followed by most people of the country, at least on paper. The caste based census is something that we are going to hold out on. Religion based politics is bad because religion being associated with statecraft is always a terrible thing because it enables discrimination of the people who are already oppressed. So if I give you the example of Pakistan, Pakistan is an Islamic republic. The religion based politics that happens there is Islamic in nature. And as a result, people who are not Muslim are discriminated against because that religion is a majoritarian force. Caste based politics is politics of the oppressed. You see the difference. Religion based politics is bad because it aids the powerful. Caste based politics is not because it is the voice of the voiceless. That is the difference. Always look at these things through the lens of power. Who is more powerful? Who's less powerful? For example, you have, uh, proud to be belonging to this religion or that religion being said by people who are a majority in that country. Then there is also gay pride and Dalit pride. Both are pride, but they're different prides. One pride is being used to assert dominance over the weaker sections of society. Another pride is being used to assert just humanity. If we are also here, we will not be dehumanized and we will have our voices heard. Both are on paper just proud. The word proud is there, but in spirit they're very different because the kind of power associated with them is very different. I hope that clarifies it. Purvesh says now some people have invented new term for people who are agnostic atheists. They call them pseudo atheist. Yeah, this is quite old. There is no dearth of dumb fucks who don't understand a concept and try to try to, like, the problem they have with agnostic atheism is because they can't respond to it. It is quite possibly, philosophically, the strongest foundation one can stand on. You're not making any claims, you're not denying anything, you're simply saying, I don't know, therefore I don't have any reason to believe. The agnostics who are often, like, I made a video about this. No, I haven't made a video about this, it's on my list. I suppose I will make a video about this in the days to come. The agnostics who are who will call themselves agnostics but not agnostic atheists are actually kind of sort of, I like to think they're kind of closeted believers, because the question that their position is agnostic on is the existence of god, and that question has no bearing on reality except when you're talking from the point of view of a religion. So people who are commonsensical enough to realize that religious claims are utter nonsense but don't want to let go of it because they really like being religious will continue to hold on to those beliefs by saying, I'm an agnostic, instead of simply saying that there is no evidence for this and therefore there is no reason to believe. What is the reason to believe? What is the reason for withholding belief? Is there any evidentiary basis for whatever is being claimed? Because if their claim is that, okay, yeah, so these people are saying God exists and those people are saying God does not exist, I'm going to stand in the middle. It's a nonsense position. There is a reason those people are saying God exists and they're providing you with what they think is evidence. Do you agree with it? If you don't, you're an atheist. You're not an agnostic. But yeah, Meta Galaxy, thank you for the 110 rupee super sticker. Much appreciated. Joy Boy says, ignore them, man. They themselves don't bring any better argument than being ad hominem. Well, yeah, okay. Purvesh says, and they call Hindu not a religion but link it with geography like agnostic Hindu, agnostic American, European. If you remember your message, my message, yeah, I do. And you should say that, is there something called agnostic American? Oh yeah, the agnostic American you have mentioned. It's quite it's quite silly. Ask them to change the definitions in wherever. Like someone said, right? Hinduism is not the religion. The religion's name is Sanatan Dharma. And I was like, if I open a Sarkari form, there is no listing for Sanatan Dharma. It says Hindu. You should apply. You should send an application to your beloved government and have them change the name of the religion to Sanatan Dharma. I will then call it Sanatan Dharma. Uh, Amit says gay pride and marginalized pride is solidarity. Yes. Murli says, are you a left winger or a right winger? I am neutral. I find both ideologies have some advantages and disadvantages. I am not neutral. I am a left winger. Mrityunjay says, I saw in one speech, J. Sai Deepak was saying casteism is because of Brit. Yeah, उनके लिए तो सब कुछ ब्रिटिश ने किया है. हमने कुछ भी नहीं किया. हम तो कुछ गलत कर ही नहीं सकते. सब कुछ ब्रिटिश लेके आए थे. Amit says, Purvesh, that's an excuse to equivocate Indian with Hindu. God is dead, says Mrityunjay. Don't believe that guy. He was just Gopodi. Gopodi? What is Gopodi? I don't know. Someone was in the queue, but they disappeared. What happened? Facty says, when I point out my friend. Okay, I think Facty's half sentence got cut off. But yeah, before I proceed, the comments have kind of stopped and the people have disappeared. I don't know if it's a StreamYard issue or just, I'm boring. I'll just remind everyone that I'm doing an experiment with AI art, as in I'm trying to write a full story using AI, ChatGPT. So I'm doing this experiment on Loregate, LOREGATE dot stck dot me, Loregate dot stack dot me. If you go there, you'll find a story called Bhumi's End. It's a fantasy story, and I'm using AI to write it. Like I'm still editing a lot of it, and at some point I'll put out a bit of a post on it explaining my process. But the idea is to see how much easier a writer's life becomes because of it, how much easier content generation, how much easier the process of writing becomes for writers, and to then come to some conclusions about whether this is sustainable or not. So if you are interested, you can go to loregate.stck.me and read the first chapter. The second chapter is coming on Monday. Arun says Sai Deepak is a joke. I don't see why his opinion is relevant. Vinod says, should we focus on equal pay or equal opportunity? We should focus on equal opportunity, and equal pay is a way to encourage equal opportunity. Equal opportunity for pay is a great idea, but you also have to realize that even when people have the opportunity and they get to the place where they wanted to get, or where they should have gotten, they often don't manage to make as much money as the person with more privilege, and the privilege may be gender based or caste based or religion based, or something else. So it is all well and nice to say everyone has an opportunity, but firstly they don't, and even when there is an opportunity and they get there, they don't get equal pay because of preconceived notions about merit. So it's not an either or situation there. It's slightly more complicated. Purvesh says, Amit, I have given that guy the exact same reply which Vimo Bhaiya said just now, and he brought some vague reasons. Purvesh, मैं तुम्हारा argument actually भूल गया. Would you like to paste it again? Murli says, why no one climbed Mount Kailash even it is shorter than Mount Everest in altitude? Some Hindus say it is because Hindu god Shiva lives there. What do you think? What do they say? Like Shiva is actually throwing rocks at mountaineers, like he doesn't want them to climb. Or are they saying it is more difficult to climb? Or are they saying there are other official difficulties in climbing it because the Chinese government and the Indian government have projects around it, right? Just because there is a mountain and people are not climbing it, which itself is suspect. I'm sure people have climbed it. It's a mountain. There is hardly a peak there which has not been climbed. But if you go to a mountain to climb it and you find, uh, government hindrances on the way, like there are camps that say you can't go forward from this place, look into all of that. Nah? I do not think that it is the case that the mountain cannot be climbed. That's just uh, a god of the gaps. There is this mountain and people are unable to climb it. We will not pay attention to any of the reasons that are available out there. Like, this government has set up a camp there, that thing is there, these people are posted there, and we will simply assign it to God, which is a very lazy way of thinking, no? If you have doubts, if I was to believe people when they say that uh, there is some divine intervention that prevents people from climbing the mountain, I would believe the person who climbed the mountain, tried to climb the mountain, and brought back video evidence of such divine entrances, instead of people who just make YouTube videos with bad graphics, claiming for no reason at all that there is something like that happening there. We have no reason to think that such a thing is even possible. Why would we pay any attention to such garbage claims? Purvesh says Arpit sir's latest video on Acharya Pareshan was, yeah, I saw it. Quite nice. Very well written and factual. Fact, he says, when I point out my friend's pseudoscience, he says one should not debate a fool and make me feel so bad. In fact, he's a science student and better than me in science, and he still believes in things. You should say, that sentence. I've heard it from plenty of fools who are afraid to engage in debate. Arun says the reason no one climbed Mount Kailash is because of religious pressure. People who tried were blasted by bugs. That may be one reason, but I also think there are other reasons, like, the path to the peak is not empty. There are uh, military camps or something set up there. Purvesh says he brought the argument of Ansem's ontological argument and evidentialism. So, what was it? What was the argument? Present it. Cyanide Music says they say there is some energy which makes mountaineers grow old and die if they try to climb Kailash. Bring evidence. Bring evidence that such things happen to people. Have them medically diagnosed and show that they rapidly aged and then died. बोलने से तो नहीं होता ना, मैं भी बहुत कुछ बोल सकता हूँ। ये जो दरवाज़ा दिख रहा है तुमको बैकग्राउंड में इस तरफ, सॉरी ये वाला, दिस वन या इसके पीछे एक सीक्रेट चेंबर है, जहाँ पे एक टाइम मशीन है, जिसको यूज़ करके मैं हर रोज़ डायनासोर काल में जाता हूँ और टी-रेक्स के साथ कबड्डी खेलता हूँ। व्हाट इज़ द प्रोसेस ऑफ डिस्प्रूविंग मी? The process of disproving me is to force me to open the door, go in and show you that there is nothing but kabad in that room, right? बोल कोई भी कुछ भी बोल सकता है. But is there a reason to think that what they're saying should be believed? No, it's garbage. Um, Rajam says, what is your take on Islam? I think it's a religion. It's an Abrahamic religion, I think. That is my take on it. Amit says, hey, Amit, thank you for the $20 super chat, man. Really appreciate it. When I bring up privilege and patriarchy in conversation with Indian friends, they say that I'm approaching these concepts from a Western lens and should not be applied to India. How would you respond to these arguments? I would look at their experience. Like, I'm pretty sure all the people who say this are in some way associated with patriarchy and privilege. So tell them that if you took them back in time to the British colonial era and they were having a conversation with a British official and say that India should be able to govern herself, and the British official said that's a very Eastern way of looking at things. You should approach these things from a modern Western point of view. What would their response be? Their response would be, "Fuck you, man." We don't give a shit about your modern Western lens. We care about the problems that are arising out of this toxic system, and we want to do something about it. This crap line about Western lens is only said by people who benefit from these systems. A man will say, patriarchy is a Western lens. In Indian context, men should be treated as if they're special. You will never see someone who's on the receiving end of oppression saying these things unless they have been tremendously brainwashed into becoming a part of the machine that oppresses them. So, yeah, try it. God is dead says, I see Abhi and News say Gurukul ancient knowledge is best, but when we turn back the pages of history, Macaulay education gave right untouchable to even study, but these people ignored. I think Macaulay gets too much credit for the education system, and also they did have ulterior motives. However, also it cannot be denied that the Western education system was kind of an equalizing force as far as caste is concerned. However, there is another thing to note, which is that when upper castes allied with British officials to take up the ranks of clerks across the British administration, the people who were left out and oppressed were still Dalits. So it's not as if the British education system brought about some radical change in caste. Yeah, there have been plenty of anti caste heroes who have brought liberation or at least liberated thinking to Indian Dalit Bahujan Adivasi populations because of their Western education, like Jyotira Phule and Dr. Ambedkar. Indian immigrant says China doesn't allow to climb Kailash. Yeah. I think when people say divine intervention, you should ask them, wait, are you talking about China as divinity? Because that is what this means eventually. मैसी says Tibetan Buddhism में भी कैलाश पीक का कुछ इंपॉर्टेंस है, इसलिए भी परमिशन नहीं मिलता. हाँ, the place is heavily politicized. The reasons behind people not being able to climb it are political and military. That is all. और कुछ नहीं है. ये जो डिवाइन इंटरवेंशन है ना, ये सब बकवास इसलिए पेली जाती है ताकि वो सब छुपाया जा सके. जब तुम्हारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री के मुंह से चीन नहीं निकलता, तो भक्तों के मुंह से क्या निकलेगा? Indian immigrant says, if China allowed to climb Kailash, many people would have climbed it already. Arun says, Amit, Western lens argument is cop out. Ask them what Indian lens is. Yeah, they will usually use some Brahmanical lens. Barnali says, hi, Banali. Indian immigrant says, LOL, awesome. Meta Galaxy. Wait, did I say something funny? Why are people laughing? Okay. मुरली सॉरी सायुष से अरे एक साथ तीन क्रॉक सेज आई थिंक वहाँ पे ऑक्सीजन की कमी है. ऑक्सीजन की कमी हर पहाड़ के ऊपर होती है भैया, इसीलिए जब एवरेस्ट पे चढ़ते हैं तो ऑक्सीजन के टैंक लेके चढ़ते हैं. एट हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड्स यू विल फाइंड इट द एयर इज थिनर, यू विल फाइंड इट हार्डर टू ब्रीथ, व्हिच इज आल्सो व्हाई गुरखास आर रियली बैड एज बाय द वे, बिकॉज दे ग्रो अप इन एन एनवायरनमेंट वेयर द एयर इज क्वाइट थिन and they manage to live their lives there. So when they come downstairs, their physical prowess are better than people who dwell in planes. Sayush says, why are most scientists atheists while there are other fields of science, for example, engineering or software engineering, also professions like doctors who are theists? Do doctors shift blame to God? No, I think it's got to do with culture. Uh, I think that no significant survey has been done about Indian scientists and Indian doctors and Indian engineers. And it will be complicated because there will be people who will just say, I'm an atheist while believing in karma and some jadi booty and some baba. सो इंडिया में वो सर्वे इतने कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हैं कि उनसे कोई क्लियर कंक्लूजन निकलेगा नहीं. आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज एनी डेटा टू सजेस्ट दैट engineers are more theistic or doctors are more theistic. So this seems to be just on the basis of hearsay. Murli says, can you make a video on YouTube channel HyperQuest because he's Praveen Mohan 2.0. He also makes dumb claims like Hinduism is scientific. I have seen HyperQuest video on Sanskrit, the language where, well, you know, the popular line is that Sanskrit is a language in which it is possible to code very well. And I found his video explanation of it quite sane. He was not someone who was saying ki, "Arey ye mahan hai," वगैरह. He actually went into the grammar of it. I don't think he's Praveen Mohan 2.0. Praveen Mohan is an extraordinary level of stupidity, and so are his followers, by the way, most of them. Those who are not watching him, ironically. I don't think HyperQuest is on the same level. He may have said some things which are wrong, but I haven't seen those videos. I've seen one video of his, which has to do with Sanskrit language, and I did not find much to fault in it. Purvesh says, he said that Anselm's ontological argument has a better reason to believe in God as compared to argument of an atheist. Huh, so I'm saying, what is Anselm's ontological argument? Present it. If you want to come on screen, come and tell me. What is his argument? Sayush says, please take my question. Already did. Purvesh says, it is a conceptual truth, or so to speak, truth by definition that God is a being than which no greater can be imagined. That's what he said. That's stupid. I can imagine a being greater than God. If I close my eyes, I imagine God, and then I imagine a hand which is creating God. I just imagine a being greater than God. How do you know what is the greatest possible imaginable thing? I just imagine something greater than God. I don't know why people think these are great arguments. Chikur Chuchum, thank you for the 110 rupees. He says, Hi Vimoh, अरे भाई साई दीपक से बहुत सीखने को मिलता है. एग्जाम्पल लंबी फेंको विद कॉन्फिडेंस. ही इज गुड कंटेंट फॉर सच्ची सीरीज. देखते हैं कभी करेंगे शायद. GoClip says, Hi Vimoh from Nepal. Hi GoClip. Thank you for coming in from such a faraway place. Like it, Nepal is on the other end of the world. But thank you. Indian immigrant says oxygen ki kami Nathula pe bhi hai, but you can visit it. Amit says, oh, another thing, they say terms like Brahmanism and Brahmanical are Hindu phobic terms. Have you encountered this before? Yeah, absolutely. They're doing this right now when there is legislation being made in America to curb casteism in academic circles and even in offices. They're saying Hindu phobia, Hindu phobia. किसी ने नहीं बोला तुम्हारे धर्म के बारे में कुछ. If you are of the opinion that your religion can only be respected when it is brazenly discriminatory against people of its own following, then you are the enemy of that religion. Nobody else is. Other people are trying to clean it up. You're the one who say that caste should continue to exist and Brahmin should be continued to be treated as if they're superior. You want your religion to be racist. How are you pro-Hindu? Zenak says, what is your opinion on Dalai Lama's controversy? I talked about this last episode. I said it was creepy. Aditya says, did you watch the Satyapal Malik interview? Very strong allegations, although I doubt this will penetrate the Indian bubble. I saw it, and Congress has today done a couple of press conferences where they have started making an issue out of it. Hopefully it catches on. Purvesh says, for example, I can imagine unicorns exist. There's possibilities of their existence. Yeah. Being able to imagine something is not proof of its existence. And by the way, this ontological argument and a lot of arguments like this, I've said this before also. If there is no evidentiary basis to it, then there is no reason to take it seriously. No reason at all. I can imagine something, and therefore what I imagine must be taken seriously is just about as stupid as things can get. Uttam says, can religion solve the hikikomari problem? I don't know what that problem means. Rajam says, what do you think of arguments by Muslims about the Quran being scientific? Because I often see them also. I would like to hear your opinion on science in the Vedas. It's all stupid. It's all stupid. Equally stupid across the board. I have made previously videos on this. There have even been people who have come on this channel and talked to me about this. Please go to the clip section and watch them. अरे ये क्या है स्ट्रीम एलिमेंट्स पे क्लिक कर दिया Indian immigrant, thank you for the $5. Long live atheism. Okay. See, this kind of phrase gives me anxiety. We should not use phrases like this because they sound religious. Vinod says, I haven't seen anyone counter Jay Sai Deepak. Is he faking? No, no, I'm sure there are counters. He's just, I think most people have just not gotten around to him. I have countered his argument. Like, I have not seen much by him, but sometimes people come on the live stream and tell me what he said, and I have provided my rebuttals whenever possible. Tushar says, should we prepare to adjust more with the right-wing stupidity as Modi might most probably win in 2024 election? Split personality. I don't think he'll win in 2024. So there is no question of adjusting. And even if they do win, I will still not adjust. Adjusting with murderous ideologies is poisonous for yourself and for your family and for everyone you love and don't know. Fact, he says, Hypercast, once he compared human evolution with avatars of Lord Vishnu. That's an old argument. If someone is saying that there is some, if someone says that we can use the Dashavatar cycle as a metaphor to talk about evolution on a most basic childish level, I'm okay with it. But there is no sign of evolution there. That is not how it happened. Science is Dope recently did a collab with Dave Farina. If you go to his channel, you can find it. And they're reacting to Sadhguru saying the same thing. Listen to it. Amit says, I can always imagine a thing greater than something else. Yeah, you can always imagine a thing greater than something else. That's the point. The greatest being imaginable is just a meaningless thing. The moment you imagine something, you can imagine something greater than it. I can imagine an ass out of which God is coming. So, what did I just prove? That ass exists? Why Murli Krishna says, I think you have to watch more videos of him because he even says Hinduism predicted time dilation, time travel, and even the relativity of Einstein. Maybe. Maybe if I watch his stuff, I'll come to conclusions that you have come to. I just haven't gone there. But I still don't think he's as bad as Praveer Mohan. Sameep says, high school and college science doesn't teach you much critical thinking. It is PhD where you learn to question all sorts of things. Maybe that's why most scientists are atheists, not doctors and engineers. But my question is, are they? Is there any data to suggest this, that most scientists are atheists? Croc says, I want to know your opinion on free will. Crocs, I have not made up my mind about free will. My position on free will is that, yeah, there are some scientists who say the universe is deterministic. And there are some people say that free will exists despite the universe being deterministic. I haven't made up my mind. And whenever I do, I'll let you guys know. Metal Man says, I've also started using AI for writing, mostly to get more options on prose. When I feel I can say something better or remove excess unnecessary text, that doesn't add anything. Yeah, I'm kind of writing Bhumi's and using that feature only. What I do is I create the world and I feed it the chapter outlines. I ask it to generate the first draft, and then if possible, I ask it to edit it a little bit. And whenever it is not possible, I edit it myself. So that is the experiment. God is dead. Did you ever meet people of ISKCON? Yes, I've been to ISKCON temples. I've read their books. I've had their snacks. Their snacks are excellent. They should, I think, shut down everything else and just stick to the snack part. It's brilliant. Amit says, God is dead. I have the really weird and they exoticize India. Yeah, the Hare Krishna movement apparently. Anudeep, thank you for CHF. What is CHF? ये कौन सा currency है? CHF 12. Thank you. Arun says, Vimoh, I don't think they want religion to be discriminatory. They are just delusional enough to believe it is not. Again, the whole Brits invented caste system thing. Yeah, yeah. Uttam says young people in Japan and Korea are isolating themselves from. So, Uttam, क्या मतलब I get it, right? But just random factors को chat में drop करने से क्या फायदा है? Like ask a question, form an argument, say something that I can respond to. मैं इसका क्या response दूंगा? Okay, young people are isolating themselves from society. The Indian immigrant says, I disagree. Sorry, why can't we say long live atheism? Because it makes it. I don't even think atheism should be a movement. I think religion should not exist. And when it does not, there will be no reason to be an atheist. The only reason we have to say atheism, uh, long live atheism, is because atheism is forced to be a movement in a world where we live. But I think I'm not opposing you saying it. If you can say whatever you want, obviously. But I'm saying ki under ideal circumstances, we would not have to say long live atheism because that makes it a thing in its own right. And I don't think in the long run that is going to be healthy because things tend to turn into religions. Atheism is not a religion. So we should avoid religious language when talking about it. GoClip says, do you think every human is capable of being rational to enjoy meaning and appreciating the beauty of life, or it? Okay. I suppose that got cut off, but yeah, I think it depends on your definition of rational. Some people are more given to imagination, some people are more given to critical thinking, and enjoying meaning and appreciating the beauty of life can mean various things to various people. There may be religious people who appreciate the beauty of life through their religious lens. There may be people who find the meaning that their religion gives them quite beautiful. So we should not be thinking that things like enjoying meaning, appreciating beauty, and rationality have universal meanings across the board. That's my point. Aditya says Sai Deepak can be easily countered. He's not even a right wing intellectual. He's a cheap troll like Milo. Hope he has. Okay, I don't know what the end was, but I don't want to. I don't want to support views that end with has the same end. I don't know what that means. Rajam says, what's your opinion on Swami Vivekananda? Please ask specific question. Don't ask long answer question. This is the kind of question which, if it appeared in an exam, I will have to write an 800 to 900 word answer. And I don't want to do that. Ask specific questions that have to do with specific points. Don't say, your opinion on walls. What am I going to say? Facty, why Praveed Mohan fakes his accent or it is his real accent? It doesn't matter. I'm more interested in his arguments and opinions instead of the way he speaks. I don't think we should make a big deal out of anyone's way of talking. Krog says, is there any mathematical formula of evolution? I doubt that is how it works. There are mathematical formulas that govern certain processes using which we have gathered evidence for evolution, like radiometric dating and carbon dating. Mathematical formula of evolution से मतलब क्या है मुझे नहीं पता. If you're talking about the rate at which evolution happens, the rate is different for different species. Some species live for 3 days, and in a year they have had 70 generations. A lot of research is done on insects that have really short lifespans. That is how we know evolution happens. uh, Dogs went through artificial selection and evolution. Natural selection of a species like human beings takes millions of years. So yeah, there is some math, but it is not something that is replicable in a lab because there is variation in the amount of growth that happens genetically over time among different species. Gogleb says, could you make a video or a comment on channel called Project Shivoham? I have never seen this channel. If I ever watch it, and I think I should, I will make something. Anudeep says, Vimoh, could you please make a short out of your conversation with Dynamo coders from your last live stream? What was the topic again? Just remind me. I'm forgetting. Sudarshan says, hi Vimoh, did you watch the video of Rudraksh being created out of thin air and beer biceps channel? Yeah. He's so gullible, man. Every street side magician can fool him into. I doubt he's that gullible. Like, here are two things. Wait. Suppose Beer Biceps is sitting in his house and somebody comes and there's a camera that is on and they show him a magic trick. I pulled this potato out of thin air. He'd be like, oh, wow, spirituality, magic, mysticism, semen retention into my brain. He'll be all that. But if someone did that and said, now give me 100 rupees, will he? Will he do that? Will he give 100 rupees? Will he give 1,000 rupees? Will he give this person 10,000 rupees because they said, I pulled a potato out of thin air because that was the desire of your ancestors, and now your ancestors want you to give me 10,000 rupees? Will he do that? That's the main question. Does Beer Biceps actually believe the shit that he says on his show? I do not believe that he does. I think he's milking his audience for money. I think he has realized that there is money in all this jadoo tona, jhad phunk wala business and this babagiri wala business. And he probably can't be a baba. So he just pretends to be a nodding podcaster who agrees to all these jokers and their claims. I don't think he believes in it. I think he's fooling his audience in order to make money. Um, Arun says HyperQuest used to be a chill guy who just discussed Asimov. What happened? Yeah, I saw HyperQuest ka video ka. If you go to HyperQuest ka channel and you scroll down, you'll find some great videos about science fiction authors. And I wish he had carried on. But I suppose what happened was that you'll see that the science fiction author videos end at some point, and then there's a gap, and then he comes back all Baba like. That happens to a lot of YouTubers in India. They realize that the good money is to be made by doing the jadoo tona, jhad phunk, ancient culture, temple, magic, science, technology, wo sab, and they switch gears to go into that domain because that is what people want to watch. I'm personally of the opinion that content creators should do more than simply give people what they want. They should give people what they need, and people don't need this shit. They need more rationality and science. Amit says perfect beings are paradoxical. The inability to improve is a deficiency. If gods are perfect, they're deficient and therefore not perfect. Yeah. And in fact, I think I saw someone, was it Forrest Valkai or I don't know who mentioned that if God is perfect and you pray to God and then God fulfills your desire, it means that your desire was not fulfilled up until now and God made something right, right? Which means that before that prayer was fulfilled, God was not perfect. So if God changes as a result of your prayer and becomes perfect, then it stands to reason that God is not perfect by default. Indian immigrant says, also my supervisor sucks. Oh, this is a continuation of PhD guys in law are very religious. Also, my supervisor sucks. Okay. Murli says, which king do you think is most cruel, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj or Aurangzeb? I don't know. It's a see, Murli, you have done this in the last episode also, where you came with a fake handle and asked a bunch of questions that were not your opinion because apparently you saw them somewhere else. Please stop asking troll questions. Cool? Cool. Because a question like this presents a binary. And this is a more complicated question than that. I'm sure Aurangzeb had many faults. I'm sure Chhatrapati Shivaji had many good things. I'm also sure that Aurangzeb had redeeming qualities and Chhatrapati Shivaji may have had faults. When you make it about a general question about who is better, like it's a, what is that channel? Epic rap battles of history. This is not one of those channels. If you can't form decent questions, don't ask anything. Don't ask troll questions. Mr. Nobody says ISKCON is more like a cult. ISKCON is a cult. Uh, Optimistic Nihilist says many Hindus accept that casteism is bad, yet they refuse the fact that casteism is promoted in their scriptures. What do you think about this hypocrisy? It's a hypocrisy. इस पे सोचना क्या है? Many Hindus accept that casteism is bad, but they will say that the solution to casteism is not reservation because they come from upper caste families. So casteism is promoted in the scriptures. They will try to say, no, no, like we saw someone last episode also, right? Religious scriptures don't say that caste is by birth, when religious scriptures very clearly say so. So it's either people who have not read their own scriptures or people who have read their own scriptures but sanitized versions of it so they don't know any better, or people who know what the truth is but are too ashamed to admit it and therefore they just deny the whole thing. It's a hypocrisy, like you said. Anudeep points out that CHF is Swiss francs. Okay. Indian immigrant says, how do you counter religion then? You counter religion by countering religion, right? You counter religion by presenting atheism in the context of whatever needs to be opposed at the moment in religion. If religion did not exist, atheism would not exist. When you say long live atheism, you are indirectly also saying long live religion. Because if religion did not exist, atheism would not need to exist. So we should actually look forward to a future where atheism does not exist, right? Because that would also be a future where religion does not exist. I hope that point is clear. Sudarshan says, "Hi Vimoh, did you watch the video of Rudraksh being created?" Okay, I already saw that. Sameep says, something, 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 something. No spaces. Sciences in United States believed in a personal God compared to 85% of the general US population at that time. Okay, so that's about US. I was thinking you were talking about India. I don't think a survey like that has been done in India, and I don't think that survey, even if it is done in India, will give us great results. God is dead says, what if the whole world is atheist? Hypothetical. What if the whole world is atheist? By which you mean the whole world is full of people with no irrational beliefs? Or do you mean something else? Because I don't think such a world is possible. Some people will always believe in something kooky. Harsha says, is it possible for central government to change the constitution and become like North Korea? They're definitely trying. They've been trying for quite some time. But no, I don't think it is possible. If it is, it will have to be a very sidey, dicey, deceptive thing that they do over a long period of time. Right now, we're at a place where a lot of constitutional values are being subverted. A lot of governmental institutions are being hijacked by appointing RSS members into it. But the process is still not so simple. In recent times, there has been a resurgence in Dalit Bahujan Adivasi activity, the activism, right? And I think one of the strongest forces against the saffronization of India and the uh, devaluing of the constitution is that movement. So whenever possible, we should put our full weight behind it. Uttam says this is the Hikomari problem, isolation of youth, and I have seen some people blaming lack of religious people there. Okay. I don't know the details of it, so I will avoid commenting on it because I'm not very, I'm not adept at understanding Japanese and Korean societies. Vinod says if there is a decrease in social inequality among Dalit Bahujan Adivasi, then why people from Dalit Bahujan Adivasi background still not giving up reservation? If it is increased, then the reservation is useless. Vinod, we have had long conversations about this. You're simply sea lining now. We have had this conversation on this live channel. I have made clips of it and put this on the channel. I have even put clips of it on my main channel. All that material is available. You have raised the same question before. I have answered it in great detail. I'm not going to go into it again. But if I want to give it a very short answer, the onus of removing caste from society is on the people who benefit from caste. If a decision is made to give oppressed people a way out of their oppression, you can't say the oppression will go away if they give up the thing that is helping them get rid of the oppression. And when I said there is a rise in Dalit Bahujan Adivasi activism, I said their voices are rising in favor of a society where they have equal rights. If you are so clueless that you don't understand this, I can only recommend that you read more and watch more content by their YouTube channels. Right. Amit, Amit says Uttam's isolation does not follow from atheism. That's like saying the rise in petrol prices is more because of dog ownership. Indian immigrant says, I honestly want you to make a counter video for Jay Sai Deepak. He's annoying. Send me stuff by him, na. Like on Instagram, send me some clips by him. Let me see. Aditya says Milo was cancelled by his own alt right. He has become completely irrelevant. Ah, okay. I don't think Jay Sai Deepak is at the risk of being cancelled by his side because most of his side is not intellectual at all. They don't give a shit about who about intellectual positions on matters. They're bullies. They're simple old bullies. That's all. Vikram says, I was admitted to a hospital recently and while filling up the form there was a column asking my religion. My family is Hindu, but I am an atheist and I was really dumbfounded about what to write in it. One of the quests is to have government forms where we have an option that says none of the above, where we can simply say none of these religious identities are things that I want to associate with myself. Rajam says, what do you think about Swami Vivekananda's take on superstition as he said that it's a weakness? Do you agree with it? Yeah, I agree with it. इसमें disagree करने का क्या है? Uttam says, Amit, yeah, but some people are saying that religion can solve this problem as it builds a community. Communities can be built around anime also. उसमें क्या है? Religious people's claim that only religion can provide community is just ridiculous. There are football clubs, comic book conventions, anime clubs, music clubs, book reading clubs. These are all ways of building community, right? So there is a caller here. I'll take them on. Zed, what's up?
Uh, Hello, Vimoh. Nice to meet you and good evening.
Good evening.
Am I audible?
You are audible.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so I'm pretty nervous, but I was
It's
saying
okay.
that the topic is atheism, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was asking like how to become a better as an atheist. I know it's not like better, but I would like कि मैं rational कैसे बनूं ज़्यादा.
Where are you now? Like, what is your level? Are you a blue belt,
Uh,
black belt, red belt?
I don't know about levels. I guess I am kinda new to atheism. I hear your podcast. Like, I listen to your
Hmm.
podcast. I watch many rationalist videos, like including Science is Dope, you, and many atheist
Hmm.
YouTubers, right?
Hmm.
So, and the thing with me is that I want to grow to a level where I can debate debate from myself,
Okay.
like
That's a
from
good
my
goal. That's
own
a good
side.
goal. Then that's not about atheism. That's more about rhetoric and presence of mind.
Yeah,
So
like
you want to
yeah,
increase your debating skills? Watch debating channels or watch there are debating atheist debating channels also. Atheist
okay.
Experience is one of them. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've heard of
there
them.
used to also, by the way, there was this very nice thing called Skeptic Generation being run by two very nice people,
Okay.
but they burnt out. Like they started the channel after I did, and they're already burnt out. They were doing a weekly live stream.
Okay,
So
very nice.
not weekly. I think it was more than once a week. But yeah, they're burnt out, and I can totally understand. It's quite hectic. But if you want to
Okay.
increase your debating skills, you should watch these people, Atheist
Okay.
Experience and stuff, and
And
you will learn how
so,
to talk about these
yeah.
things.
Okay. And I had one more question.
Hmm.
As I've seen your channel, as I've gone through your channel, okay. So I have seen that you do not put pickpocket. Okay, sorry, not that. Sorry, wrong word. You do not take on one religion or many religions. You do not even talk about religion. You just
Hmm.
talk about rational things, like logical things. If there is something wrong is in a religion, like scientific error in Vedas or something, or Quran or something, you do not talk about that, because I guess you are right on that side, because that is pretty dangerous. As
Hmm.
many YouTubers on many atheist YouTubers on YouTube, like the realist Azad, Human with Science, Arpit explains, they do this. Not Arpit explains mostly, but yeah, more the
Hmm.
realist Azad and Human with Science kind of channels.
Hmm.
They debunk many things in Vedas, like science in Vedas, and they show the dark sides of Vedas and Upanishads
Yeah.
and religious textures,
Yeah.
like scriptures. Sorry, yeah. सो आई वांटेड मैं उनकी स्ट्रीम में तो ज्वाइन हो नहीं पाता हूँ, एंड इट्स माय फर्स्ट टाइम हियर इन योर स्ट्रीम. आई ट्राई टू ज्वाइन फर्स्ट टाइम बिफोर टू, बट आई couldn't join. Okay, so I have
Hmm.
a idea. It's pretty weird, and I have an idea.
Hmm.
See, the problem with me is that I am not good with researching. So
Hmm.
I was saying that I find many claims online, like short YouTube short videos, reels kind of videos, which claim that their religion has their religion is scientific. They have this claim from Veda, scientific claims. I even raised a question with you. I even asked you I even asked you this question
Hmm.
before, sometimes before in your live stream, in text,
Okay.
like in comments. So I wanted what can I say? I will come whenever you are live. Okay, I will try my best to enter your live like this, as we are talking right now. Okay,
Hmm.
and I will show you the video, and I will give you the link, and I will tell you the claim. And you said right, we can dissect it. So can we do that?
I am hesitant to show other people's videos on screen because then that it becomes a copyright issue matter.
No, don't
So
worry. We won't be showing videos. We won't be taking channel names. I will just in an unbiased way. I will either send you a link so you can watch it yourself, or I will myself just tell what the narrator in the video claims. Like there
Zed,
is
I think there's a better way of doing this. See,
Okay.
there are live streams where people take other people's videos and respond to them. I am
Hmm.
not keen to make this live stream about that. This
Okay,
is, if
okay.
you, in case you have noticed, it's quite a different kind of stream.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So,
understand. I'm not talking about this live stream.
yeah, yeah,
Any live
got
stream.
it,
Yeah.
got it. So, let me respond to what you said. What I
Okay,
try
okay.
to focus on is ways of thinking. What is the right way to think about reality on the basis of what we understand? I can make it about Vedas or the Quran or the Bible, etc. But the
Hmm.
problem is, usually what happens is that if I make fun of one religious scriptures, then
Yeah.
there will be people in the chat who are like, wow, kya bola, vagara, vagara. And turns out they will be from another religion,
Okay, okay. And
right?
then the people who follow you from a religion
Yeah.
which you just
So,
dissected
yeah.
will
So
get
what I
offended.
try to focus on is the thing that applies across the board. So
Okay. And
if I
one more
point out
question. Sorry,
a
but
logical fallacy, if I
yeah, yeah,
point out
yeah,
a logical fallacy, it applies to everything, right? It's
yeah,
not simply
yeah,
about one
yes,
religion. So
yeah,
that is what I try to focus on.
yeah, like the claim of God.
There are people whose channels have the agenda of being anti-Islam or anti-Hinduism, and I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
no
yeah,
problem with
yeah,
them, and I think they're doing great work. Great work.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love them. Cool.
yeah.
But
Like
this channel is not for that. That is why I
okay,
don't want to do that
it's
here.
not.
You are free to send me video clips, and I
Yeah,
will add it to a folder on my desktop. मेरे desktop पे एक folder है, उसका नाम है Debunko. मैं उसके अंदर डाल
yeah,
देता हूँ. मुझे जब भी
yeah.
time
Like you
मिलता है,
reject the claims. Yeah,
yeah,
I've
the
seen.
rejected series, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
whatever you find, you can send me on Instagram a link to it. I will save it to
Okay,
Debunko. Whenever I have time, I'll do a rejected series video, and that is the way
okay.
I want to move forward with it.
Okay. And one more question. I was saying, like, I have seen many religious people and many theistic people who do not support atheism. They are like, it's not based on logic, it's just a belief. Atheism is just a belief. Even though it's just saying that God does not exist, we just reject the claim. But they think, but they say that they're rejecting the God, like saying that God does not sorry,
Hmm.
exist. It's a
Hmm.
claim, it's in itself. So, and I've seen many religious people, if
That's a
you find,
definitional misunderstanding, right?
yeah,
When
and if
atheist
you
says
point
"Yeah,
out
we
something,
lack
no,
belief in God," why
yeah,
would they respond with "Ah, you just believe that God is not"? You're literally telling them, "No, that is not what I believe. I lack belief in God." Like there are two things. One is I lack belief in God, and the other is I believe that God does not exist. You tell them I like my position is the first one, not the second one, and then they say,
and
"Why is your position the second one?" And you say, "I just told you it is not the second one; it is the first one." So
yeah.
either they're unable to understand or unwilling to understand. In either case, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and one more question. I was saying, like kal parsu, I had like yesterday or something. I had some so-called debate on something. Okay, like Vedas and something. Okay, and I'm not again asking about Vedas or something. I was just saying, whenever we point out something from religious scriptures, many religious people say that this is wrong, this translation is wrong.
Hmm.
There's, it's like just they prefer someone. Like if, for example, I prefer you over some YouTuber, or someone prefers their translation, this book over
Yeah.
there. So yeah, they do like we prefer the Arya Samaji translation by
Yeah.
Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, not the Mool Veds or Mool Vedas or
Got it.
Mool Quran, that
Hmm.
is by Gita Press Gorakhpur or
Yeah.
something. So how to like reply to that? How to give a reply on that thing? Because that
See,
makes the situation.
my response to that usually is that I don't care.
Hmm,
Like if we are having a conversation about the Vedas, if
hmm,
I start, if you make a claim that the Vedas or whatever book you want to proffer forward have this thing to offer, I only look at one thing, and that is there any evidence for it? If there isn't, I don't want to have a conversation about it.
oh,
Because you can have these conversations till the cows come home, right?
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
will never end. It will never end.
yeah,
It says this thing, you say no, there is no evidence for it. It says that thing, there is no evidence for it. It says this thing plus that thing, there is no evidence for either of those. I
yeah.
don't give
I've
a
seen
shit.
many people. They do not just give like, yeah, yeah. They do not just like give evidence. They are just like either shout about it,
Yeah.
and either they are just like, no, no. This scientist claimed about this. This scientist said this. This scientist said
And
that
most of the
Harappan
cases,
civilization.
in many cases, those are just lies because those scientists
Yeah,
did not say those. मन से
yeah.
बना के कुछ भी पेल देते हैं. We
Yeah,
talked
and
about it in the last episode.
even I say sometimes, like there
Hmm.
is a classmate in my class, he often says that, like, do you know Hinduism is the oldest religion, as Harappan civilization में भी उसके कुछ मिले थे. So I was like, which scientist or someone? He's like, this scientist said this. I was like, first of all, archaeologists are, I guess, related to these types of things, not scientists. And even if
Hmm.
we classify them as scientists, we cannot believe whatever one scientist says, right?
Yeah. If a scientist
Even
goes
I
into
can
a
become a
if
scientist
a
tomorrow
scientist
and
goes
say,
into a yeah, if a scientist goes into a conference and says, "Here's my brand new theory, you should believe it because I'm very famous," people will laugh at him and throw him
yeah,
out.
obviously, even science will laugh about it, because science
Yeah.
does not accept a theory just because it's given by someone who is famous.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, one more thing.
Z
Uh,
Z तुम्हारा one more thing होके 5 चीज़ें हो गई. I have to go.
sorry,
There is
sorry,
one
sorry.
more
Last
caller.
thing. Okay,
There is
okay.
one
Sorry,
more
last
caller.
thing.
Then that. No, no, no. There is no time. You can come back next week if that's okay. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Thank
Cool.
you.
Bye bye. Then there is Shiroyasha. Last caller. और कोई join मत करो. Hi Shiroyasha.
Hi, Vimoh. Just came to
Hey,
say
what's
hi.
up?
हाँ
Hello.
बस तो दिस वीक अभी मतलब कुछ वीक से वही फॉलो कर रहे हो क्या? वेंसडे को चैट ओनली एंड
हाँ,
सैटरडे
वेडनेसडे को
को।
चैट ओनली और सैटरडे को कॉलर लेता हूँ.
सो मैं ये सोच रहा था मतलब ये दिस इज ऑफ द टॉपिक, ठीक है? तो
Hmm.
मतलब व्हाई डिड यू चूज टू गो फॉर अ चैट ओनली ऑन वेंसडेज? लाइक इज इट बिकॉज मतलब ज्यादा कंफर्टेबल या ज्यादा मतलब कम एफर्ट लगाना पड़ता है क्या?
Uh, Two things. One, people have said that they like the audio version better when it's just me talking, right?
ओके.
And the number of super chats is proof of it. More people support the channel when it's just me talking, reading comments, etc. And two, uh, often when I'm talking to people, it's the same thing over and over again. I'm sure you have noticed that the
करेक्ट.
topics are the same thing. I must have talked about caste and privilege 10,000 times. I must have talked
हम्म.
about the watchmaker analogy 20,000 times. And I'm kind of, honestly, beyond a point, I also get tired of it, right? Every
ओके.
Saturday, come and say the same thing to someone different in a
हम्म.
slightly different way. And I've been doing this since 2019. So it gets a little tiring. सो आई एम थिंकिंग कि वेडनेसडे को मैं चैट पढ़ूंगा और सैटरडे को मैं कॉलर्स लूंगा, बट कॉलर्स को भी थोड़ा सा मतलब देयर हैज़ टू बी सिस्टम नाउ. अभी जो
हम्म.
कंप्लीटली फ्री फॉर ऑल था, व्हाट आई विल डू इज दैट आई विल either announce that people can come and everyone who wants to come, please leave a comment here, tell me what you want to talk about. I will choose who comes and then they will come. Or I'll just set up a time limit. Ki anyone who joins gets to only be on screen for 5 minutes. If after 5 minutes I think the conversation is interesting and fruitful, then I'll let it continue for some more time. Otherwise, 5 minutes is the upper limit. So, for my own sanity and out of listener feedback, this has come.
नहीं सही है. बट एक्चुअली मतलब इनिशियली व्हाट आई वाज थिंकिंग इज मे बी मतलब इसमें यू आर इन मोर ऑफ अ कंफर्ट जोन, थोड़ा कुछ मतलब आराम मिलता होगा. बट व्हेन आई सॉ दैट हैपनिंग फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, यू आर स्पीकिंग नॉन स्टॉप बिकॉज
Which
मतलब
one?
कमेंट्स आते जा रहे, यू हैव टू स्पीक, यू हैव टू कीप अप, यू हैव टू कैच अप. मतलब आई वाज लाइक इसमें तो डबल मेहनत लग रही है विमो की. एंड
नहीं,
ही हैज टू
मेहनत का
स्पीक
तो दो
अबाउट सो
होता है ना.
मेनी थिंग्स.
लाइक समटाइम्स मेहनत का ये है कि हाँ श्योर, वन वे ऑफ लुकिंग एट इट इज दैट या इट्स क्वाइट अ लॉट ऑफ मेहनत. But another way of looking at it is that, does it make sense when I say that just talking is easier?
फॉर यू इज इट? मतलब मुझे लगा
Yeah,
दैट यू
yeah.
आर गेटिंग अ लिटिल
No,
टायर्ड.
no, no. It's easier. It's easier.
अच्छा, मे
Why do you
बिकॉज
think
यू आर
Modi?
हैविंग
Why do
मोर
you think
फन.
Narendra Modi does not do press conferences?
Yeah, he prefers Man Ki Baat. Makes sense,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So Man Ki Baat is very easy, and of course, when I'm reading comments,
Hmm.
I can respond to more people, right? If I'm just
Hmm.
if there are people on screen in every 1 hour session, what there are like 5 people. If I'm reading comments, I can very quickly talk and cover more than 25, 30 people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and lots of topics.
Yeah, lots of
Same.
topics also.
Yeah, that's it, that's it. अभी और टाइम नहीं लूंगा.
नहीं नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. 1 घंटा
Hmm.
एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्ट 1 घंटा हो गया. पर थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग श्रेयशा.
चलो, good night.
बाय बाय. That was Shirayasha, and with that we're exactly at 1 hour 1 second, 1 hour 4 seconds, 1 hour. I don't want to count seconds, but let me take a look at a few comments. I won't be able to look at all of them. Let me take a look at a few comments. Uh, Tushar says Westerners are losing their programming of Abrahamic religions, but Hindus are pushing wellness practice of yoga, meditation, free food to fill this growing vacuum and saffronize them later. I doubt it's going to be possible to saffronize them, but yes, a lot of Eastern practices have made their way into the West, and on the whole, it's not a bad thing. Adhikari says, my mom is saying gullible means a girl who play ball. How should I reply her? Should I be like, haha, should I tell her it's gully ball? Please give my regards to your mom. I love her. I wish you expand that and make a video about it. Expand what? Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Murli says, I see a video of Sadhguru in my YouTube recommendations. The title of the video, it says, Black holes are nothing but Shiva. Irrationality and pseudoscience in its peak. By the way, if you look for, if you go through Sadhguru's channel, you'll find a video which is autobiographical almost. For I didn't know about it. It's very cool. The title is The Story of the Donkey Who Fooled Everyone. Nick says, do you know evolution part chapter from class 9 is removed from the chapter heredity? Yes. I found out yesterday. I sent a message to Science is Dope and we are going to make a video about this. Shashank Sharma says, many people on social media are now on the task of making. People don't, Z भैया फिर से join कर लिया तुमने, अभी और बात करने को time नहीं है. I'm going to remove you. Come back next week. Shashank says, many people on social media are now on the task of making other people nationalists, right-wing, satanic, etc. Do you think rationalists should do a similar movement to counter and make a balance? We already are, right? It's just that we are not, haha, become a rationalist, you will get 77 people in heaven to have sex with or something. The point of rationalism, activism as it exists in the subcontinent, by which I mean India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc., probably even Sri Lanka, is that we are countering religious propaganda. If religious propaganda did not exist, we would also not exist. The difference between nationalists and satanic or whatever is that even if nothing else existed, they would still be doing their thing. We are a counter movement. We are not a movement. I hope that's clear. Crocs says, Saidipak says India is a civilization state and is currently reduced to nation state. He gives historical reasons for this. Yeah, that's a bullshit thing. It doesn't mean anything. What does he mean by civilization? What is our civilization? Is it Brahmanical? Or is there a specific definition of that civilization? The nation is a manifestation of the civilization, and that civilization is not, uh, dependent on any religious identity. People who want to payload their religious propaganda will find out plenty of reasons to do so using vague terminologies like civilization state. I can come up with 5 of these. What does it mean? Indian immigrant says, I disagree. Why we have to say none of the above, none of the religious identities? Why can't we simply have atheist option there? Because in India, people who are like Hindu atheists, so-called, will also say atheist. See my point? When you say none of the above, you are simply pointing out that these religious tags don't apply to me. Atheist is you're affirming yourself as belonging to a category. I think it is more valuable if we simply say that these categories don't apply to me. It serves the same thing and saves us the problem of becoming yet another category. Skipping. Murli says, why religious people say only their religion is true and all religions are false? Example, Islam, Christianity, and even Hindus say that. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not a religion, it's a way of life. They say it because they are unsure of how to deal with a multi-religious, multicultural society. Back in the day, suppose you lived in medieval Europe, right? Your only enemy was people who did not believe in your religion. But now in a multicultural society, you have multiple enemies. People who don't believe are one thing, but all those other people who believe in different shit are also problems for me because if I'm from a certain religion. So they try to assert not only that their beliefs are true, but also that their beliefs are more real than the beliefs of other people. Society has advanced and become multicultural, and then they're trying to fumble and deal with it. Anyway, that is it for this episode, I think. Brijesh Kumar says, hi Vimoh, have you watched The Handmaid's Tale? If you watched, what is your opinion? And yes, it's a must watch. I want to, but I haven't yet. When I do, I will share my opinion. Thank you, Brijesh, for reminding me. Um, ये क्या है? Samip says, I was looking for a study conducted in India. Turns out a lot of Indian scientists are religious. 76%. See? By the way, I'm also sure that if you did a survey among those scientists and asked them how many of them are atheists, a lot of them would say they're atheists, despite being Hindu. So, as I said, this survey is not going to be as simple in India as it is in a culture where monotheism is the only religious outlook. Anyway, yeah. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for joining today's live stream. If you want to support the channel, click the join button and become a member. This live stream happens every Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. I take questions from live chat and I try to reply to the best of my ability. Sometimes we even take people on call, on like, they join on screen like Zed and Shiroyasha did today. So if you think that's your kind of thing, join the live stream, click the join button, become a paying member, and become part of the community. I have been thinking about doing a members only live stream for some time, but I don't think we have enough members because it keeps fluctuating between 38 and 40. If enough members are there, maybe at some point of time soon, I will do the first ever members only live stream in which we will see what happens. Until then, I hope you have a great week ahead. I hope you have a great half week ahead. I'm going to see you on Wednesday. And until then, take care of yourselves and good night. Bye bye.